This week on Arizona Illustrated, the science fair.
I really liked science from a very young age. I wanted to be an entomologist at age 4.
Stranded from care.
I hear their attitude. They're not going to do nothing. They're telling people around here to take the shuttle vans. We don't have that kind of money. We live out here with nothing.
The year of the hummingbird.
Hummingbirds were chosen because they're such amazing special birds, and Southeast Arizona is such a special place for hummingbirds.
And the solace of music. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. Some of you may not know that Arizona Public Media is located here on the University of Arizona campus. And every year about this time, a phenomenon occurs that can catch us off guard. The student population drops from nearly 45,000 to maybe a dozen. Well, actually, academic pursuits continue with summer school, but just last week, as the mass exodus was underway, nearly 2,000 high school students from around the world descended on Phoenix for the International Science Fair. Among them, one student who made the trip north to represent Tucson.
I was hyperventilating and I was super pale and I'm shaking and I'm crying and I can't believe it. But it really hadn't hit me that I was going to ISEF, the International Science and Engineering Fair. My name's Annalisa Minke, I'm 16, I go to Immaculate Heart High School and I'm a junior. I'm a mildly social person, but I'm really excited to just meet people from other countries that are my age and have similar passions. So this is wait, I don't know what day it is. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. So this is the 4th day of ISEF. It's public viewing day, which means most of the time you have to have one of these badges to get on the floor. But today anyone can come on the floor and just ask questions about all the cool projects here, which there's a lot of cool projects here. It's been amazing. I've met so many people from other countries. I've exchanged social media. We've exchanged little tokens during the pin exchange.
My name is Miyamoto. I'm 70 years old. I'm from Japan.
Hey, I'm Andrew Karam. I'm 18 and I'm from Crofton, Maryland.
My name is Rand and this is my partner Tala. We are from Jordan.
我的名字叫李晨阳，我的项目是关于化学的一个项目。
My name is Ramisha. I'm 16. I'm representing Pakistan. We're here. I live in Islamabad.
My name is Andrei. I'm from Russia, from Moscow. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
See you later.
I would probably describe myself as extremely busy by choice. I do a lot of different activities, dance, cello, baritone, taekwondo. I do a lot of reading as well. I don't sleep a lot, which isn't very good for me at all. Both my parents are educated as engineers. My father's a practicing engineer and my mother's a math teacher. With that kind of influence, I really liked science from a very young age. I wanted to be an entomologist at age 4. So when the school required science fair, I wasn't all that, disappointed or annoyed by that as some of my classmates were. And my first project was about butterflies. Well, caterpillars. In high school, It's not required. I'm the only person in my high school who does science fairs. I will ask just questions, mostly to myself. Like, how was this thing constructed? How does this work? Why does it work? And the more I do science fair and the more I try to answer questions, the more I seem to be asking them. I don't like wearing the safety glasses because it makes it harder to see the dry ice. But my mom gets really mad at me if I don't wear them. I was really curious why no one was looking into the effect of water vapor. So I decided I might as well do it. And that proved to be extraordinarily difficult. We're seeing just an increase in the power of storms, and that might be because when we burn hydrocarbons, we put extra water and extra energy into the right parts of the atmosphere to create those kinds of monster storms. So more wind and more water could contribute to more extreme and more frequent storm systems. That knowledge can help those who predict weather understand these relationships a bit more, so we might be able to predict weather with slightly more accuracy. No problem.
They need to set at the door at 12:30, so they haven't left yet. Don't worry about it. You're more special than whatever anybody else wants. My name is Amanda. I am Annalise's older sister. I also happen to be her adult sponsor on this trip to ISEF. I competed at ISEF in 2015, 2016, and 2017.
So I usually don't do very well in science fair. That hasn't really stopped me from doing it because I just genuinely like to do it.
She's been doing science fair the same time as I have, and she just hasn't had a project that blew everybody away.
I'm particularly stubborn, and the fact I've lost so often has made me more determined to win because of that stubbornness.
This was the one that she hit a home run with. I'm so proud of her, and I'm honored that I got to be here. I grew up, instead of playing with Barbie dolls, I had marble tracks and I had race car tracks and I had blocks galore. And so one of those things of growing up building things and testing things and doing stuff kind of translated into middle school, which then translated into high school, and for me translated into college.
And what are you doing now?
I am a hydrology major at the University of Arizona, and I have an undergraduate grant to continue my science fair project at the university level.
Which means if we were to just, from what I've learned from other people who have been here before, being successful in terms of winning stuff, you have to really do something that contributes something to society. Whether it's more information or a new invention or some kind of super cool whatever, it has to help someone. Being successful in terms of successful in your own way, you just have to not be super nervous and shy. Just come out and meet people and just, be yourself and meet a bunch of cool people. And I consider that being as successful as winning something.
Do you need anything else?
Not that I know of.
My hope is that she goes to U of A so that we can kind of be sisters in crime, but that's completely up to her. I know that she's going to one day change the world, so it's a matter of how do I support her to get the steps so that she can do that.
Transportation services for mental health can mean the difference between life and death. In rural parts of southern Arizona, some people who receive mental health services are speaking up and reaching out, claiming that despite their best efforts, the transportation they rely on is not working as it should, leaving them stranded.
Cope saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Cope. My name is Russell Valenzuela, and I live down here in the Amado area near Tucson and Nogales. My name is Russell Valenzuela, and I have called you a couple of times about the transportation, about people being left there till 8 o'clock at night at Cope. Yes, this is the governor's office. My name is Russell Valenzuela, and I called before about the transportation problems we're having down here in the rural area and around Green Valley. Yes, can I have the Speaker of the House office, please? Yes, I need to talk to somebody in your office about the transportation problems we're having about our access. People are not being picked up on time. There's people that actually quit going to COPE because they don't know if they're going to get home.
COPE Community Services provides physical and mental health care in southern Arizona. For Russell Valenzuela, who lives with mental health challenges due to a traumatic brain injury, it's a source of community and healing through therapy and support groups. But for months, he hasn't had a reliable way to get there.
Well, we used to have a van. COPE in Green Valley had this van here and this car. With this van here and COPE having their own transportation, we never had any problems with being picked up or taken home.
But in October 2018, Arizona's state Medicaid program, Access, changed how agencies like COPE are paid. And that forced COPE to stop providing its own transportation. Clients had to call their insurance providers to arrange transport through cab companies, and rural residents like Russell say that's when the problems began.
I've seen people in this lobby crying because they've been sitting here for 6 hours waiting to get home. There's people in Patagonia we know are not being picked up. There's people in Elgin. We have friends in Cells and 3 Points are not being picked up. We have some on the reservation that goes to COPE and they're not being picked up anymore. So it's like they just don't want to pick us up. They take the money from the state for access, but they don't want to do their job. Here she comes. It's about time. And this walking group, we used to have 6 or 7 people in the walking group. Now there's only 3 of us here. And the art group went to 10 to 3. And the other 2 groups, nobody ever shows up anymore. Jennifer and I and Rosie are the only ones that really come.
Then you call the carrier, and that morning you're supposed to be picked up because they're already late. And they'll say, oh, they're 15 minutes out, 20 minutes out. Okay, 45 minutes later, I'm on the phone having a mild anxiety attack, and oh, they're 3 minutes away. Okay, cool. No show, nothing, not even a phone call. So I'm back on the phone again. There's nobody here. I'm already late. What's going on? And I'm thankful I do get the transportation when it does come, but not knowing is really hard.
Jennifer King lives with generalized anxiety disorder and depression. After she was left stranded one too many times, she gave up using her transportation benefit. Because she's unable to drive and there's no public transportation where she lives, Jennifer started relying on her mother.
It's hard, it's hard on her. I don't like the fact that she has to take me there, plus take me everywhere else because I don't drive. She worries, that when she's not around, what's going to happen to me.
My dad died last year, and I could have used the support, and because of insurance and things like that, I didn't have that support, and those people still mean a lot to me, my friends, and they were like my family.
It happened to me, it happened to Jennifer, it's happened to Rosie, it's happened to all the clients. And the van sits there, and the staff can't take us home. I don't understand why they're doing this.
If you are calling concerning an issue with
One time I was on hold for 2 hours. Yes, Carol, my name is Russell Valenzuela, and I've called before about the transportation problems we're having with the taxis. We still need the van at COPE because this thing is not working. And this is about the 5th time I called you. Oh, I've been calling you guys since November. And I reported this about 3 times already. I have filled out complaint after complaint since October. He hung up on me. He hung up on me. Access hung up.
In any given year, about 3.6 million Americans don't get medical care because of a lack of transportation. It's such a significant barrier to care that providing non-emergency medical transportation has been protected as a Medicaid benefit since 1966. Non-emergency medical transportation, or NEMT, covers trips to doctor's appointments, pharmacies, support groups, physical therapy, and other essential but non-emergency health care. This is such a necessary service that in the last fiscal year, Access provided almost 5 million NEMT rides. It's also one of the most cost-effective Medicaid benefits, saving taxpayers millions of dollars every month.
We have seen an uptick in the beginning of 2019 in non-emergency medical transport complaints. So Access is, now that we are aware of this little uptick in transportation complaints, working on what might be changes to the policy, what might be trends and data that we can track to help identify where the issue really truly lies, and what we can do to resolve that issue.
Hi there, this is Heidi.
Non-emergency medical transport is a critical part of members getting the services that they need. When there's a barrier to care, we want to hear about it.
But while Access looks into the problem, people are still getting stranded, missing vital care on a weekly basis.
Hello?
Hi, Russell. You left a message here today?
Yeah, I just want to let you know I happened again at Cope. Somebody was left there till 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, who is the person? The person would need to file an actual complaint.
Yes, I know they're going to, but I just want to let you know it keeps happening.
Okay, well, I would, once that person files the complaint and goes through the grievance process, they should be looking into a resolve for that, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks for the information, Russell.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, today I was lucky somebody answered, and I talked to them. But I hear their attitude. They're not going to do nothing.
Russell Valenzuela says he won't stop fighting for access to the community he's found, especially because the community itself might be at stake. Low attendance has already shut down some of the groups he used to attend, and he fears more will follow.
We lost our day program. We have lost the music program. This office here, I'm afraid if we don't get any more people here, they might close it. Are we going to finish the art project today? We used to call each other. Nothing now. We used to hike together, walk together. It's like turning into a ghost town. And the state's doing it. And that's the truth.
We reached out to Arizona Complete Health, the enrolled health care plan through which clients arrange transportation, and they declined an interview and recommended we speak to Access. We also reached out to COPE, and they declined to comment on camera. Their CEO, Rod Cook, did confirm that the change in payment structure has affected COPE's ability to serve its clients. Southern Arizona is a wonderful place for bird watching, and this time of year is an especially good time to do it. Our trees and our sky seem to be full of hawks and cardinals and owls and just about everyone's favorite, the hummingbird. In 2017, the hummingbird was designated Tucson Audubon Society's Bird of the Year. And that's when we profiled this tiny, fast, and colorful creature.
2017 is the year of the hummingbird at Tucson Audubon Society, and it's going to be a whole year dedicated to celebrating, exploring, and supporting hummingbirds. And hummingbirds were chosen because they're such amazing special birds, and Southeast Arizona is such a special place for hummingbirds. We have 13 species of hummingbirds here that you can see every single year, plus 4 additional species that you can see on certain years that don't show up every year.
I think it's wonderful. Hummingbirds are unique birds, unique creatures, and very important as pollinators and very beautiful.
I think the concept of having a year of especially hummingbirds, everybody loves hummingbirds. So many people feed hummingbirds, and people get very attached to them. And people even get attached to hummingbirds here.
This is Annis, and she was just sitting there.
So on my left here is a male broadbill sitting up in this twig over here. We're in the Hummingbird Aviary at the Desert Museum, one of the most popular exhibits we have. I think it's so popular because we have all these really tenacious, wonderful little birds coming so close to you.
Beautiful. They're fascinating. They're so quick. You're just sitting there taking it in. And yet when they sit still, like that one over there, they're just beautiful.
They're great flyers. They can fly forwards, backwards, sideways. They hover. The hovering is great as a hummingbird photographer, as such, if you want to photograph them, because they sit and hover in front of a plant while they're getting the nectar. And as such, their wings are going a mile a minute, but their bodies are relatively stationary. You can get some really good photographs that way. This is a magnificent hummingbird. I photographed this one in Madeira Canyon. So this is a pretty cool bird, and that coloration, you only see it under certain lighting conditions. As a photographer, you kind of wait, and hopefully you'll get the shot at the second before it moves and you lose that color again, that red color on the head.
One of the things we're doing are going to be several art contests throughout the year, one focusing on writing, one on photography, and one on art. Gosh, I see hummingbirds so much in art. And, a lot of it's going to be, they're so beautiful. The beauty of hummingbirds, the beautiful colors that shine on the males. They're just gorgeous birds. But they're also very compelling. We are making a big push for folks to make their yards as bird-friendly as possible. Planting native vegetation, putting out hummingbird feeders, as well as we have a list of the best plants to create food for hummingbirds that you can put right in your yard.
You could put as much work into it as you want, or as little. It's not that much work, and they do better than trying to plant non-native plants. And they need less water, which is important in the desert.
This is a great plant to attract native pollinators. This is a tuberosa, and this is the yellow variety, but it also comes in orange. But one reason to plant a variety of plants, and especially plants for pollinators, is to see these animals in your backyard.
And then we also have an interactive map on our website where if you create a hotspot, meaning making your yard friendly for hummingbirds, you can submit that onto our map just so we can see how many people in Tucson are actively trying to help hummingbirds.
Birders love to keep lists of all the different species and the places where they have seen them before. And all of that data helps scientists give us better information about how we can conserve and protect our natural environment as well.
Not just scientists, anybody can get involved and report hummingbirds that they're seeing.
Guess how much they weigh? Well, you can actually pull a coin out of your pocket, 3 grams. That's the weight of the small hummingbirds we have in here. A lot of people don't have any idea how many insects they eat, and they eat about half of their body weight in food a day. That's huge.
Hummingbirds build their nests mostly from spiders' webs, and they put a little bit of lichen or leaves in there to camouflage it, but it's mostly spider webs. And they make them out of spider webs so that the nest can stretch as the babies grow.
We got these little tiny eggs that are about the size of a Tic Tac, which is incredible. That ends up being a bird.
They have some negative characteristics, like the males do not have anything to do with raising the babies, and they are promiscuous. which some people may think is a good thing, and it just depends how you look at it.
I think they're whimsical. I think that hummingbirds have this magical quality. You can be out just enjoying your day, especially in Arizona, and you look over and you just see this thing, and you look over and it's a hummingbird. They're just incredible creatures. We call them our winged wonders here.
For over 8 years, war has ravaged Syria. Nearly 400,000 people have been killed, 12 million forced to flee their homeland, desperately seeking safety and freedom, including Fadi Iskandar and his family. By 2017, the Iskandar family had settled into a new life here in Tucson. We shared their story back then on Arizona Illustrated, their agonizing decision to leave, memories of those they left behind, and the solace they found in music. From our Far Afield series, this is Fadi Iskandar. You'll find the 2017 story of the Iskandar family's journey on our website. Search for The Violinists at azpm.org. Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. See you next week.